Welcome back to the Sad Dad Games podcast. Today we'll be talking about Resident Evil 1 Remake, because I haven't played the original, and how it revolutionized horror gaming. And so let's get into it. I'm Shan.
Eric, you're muted.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Emerlie.
I was wondering why Shan said that he hadn't played it, and I was like, "Ooh, I have played it," and then neither of you reacted at all, and it's because I was muted.
Pointing like the finger guns. I'm like, why are you so excited?
Wait, so Eric, you've played the original Resident Evil. When did you play this?
Okay, so I guess
never talked about it.
So I don't know if this technically counts as the original. They released a port of the original onto the DS. Which is essentially this, as far as I understand, it's essentially the same game with some mild quality of life improvements, just control wise, I think. But it is basically like graphically, and all of you Resident Evil fans, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the same game. And that's the one that I've played. I played through that one all the way through, and I actually have never played the remake. For reasons that we'll get into later, I'm sure, but it's because I'm scared of it. But, yeah,
it's because he doesn't have a big boy diaper.
I don't have a big boy diaper. Well, I'm scared. Well, and it's the ink ribbons. We'll get into it. I'm scared of the ink ribbons. They terrify me, and we'll get into that later. But.
That's like a staple to all Resident Evil games.
Nuh-uh, it's only in the first few.
Almost.
Yeah.
Well, I've only played the first few, so for me,
I was gonna say it's only in the ones that I haven't played. Oh.
Tucker's here.
Yeah. Oh, Tucker's here.
Here's Tucker.
Yeah.
Beep boop.
Beep boop. So we started recording, and Tucker just hopped on. So Shan, Eric, Emerlie, Tucker, we're all here.
Oh.
All right. So Tucker, have you played Resident Evil 1 Remake?
Nope. I'm here for the jokes.
Yeah, I didn't think so. That's why I was like, let's go ahead and record.
So Tucker's this is gonna be like an indie episode for Tucker. He's gonna take a quick nap, and we'll all talk about it. And if there's a wiener joke to be had, Tucker will be there. Yeah.
I will gobble that up.
Yeah.
Listen, Tucker's got his hat, and we need a hat in every episode in order to like boost our algorithm. So that's what he contributes to the conversation.
Yes, hat-based content. Yeah.
Yes.
Based content is the only.
Okay, so I've probably played.
On YouTube.
I've probably played this Resident Evil remake at least in the double digits. Probably, it maybe comes like third or fourth in my games I've most played overall in my life. Resident Evil 4 is definitely number one. But everybody else here, I've had to kind of like force them to play Resident Evil. Tucker doesn't really play, but he's loves 5 as his favorite.
Well, I mean,
randomly.
Yeah, I mean, hang on. So I've played a fair amount of Resident Evil on my own, but Shan has talked me into playing some of the earlier entries, or I guess rather remakes of some of the earlier entries. But
I mean, to be fair, Shan is just bullies people into doing what he wants them to do.
He does, yes.
Is it bullying?
Multiple times.
Or is it just like persuasion? You know,
it is polite, strategic bullying. Yeah.
I rely
Everybody
on
has
Shan
a lever
lending,
that you can pull.
I rely on Shan lending me his game, so it's really easy for him to manipulate me into playing the games he wants me to play. Because it's like, well, I don't have my own games. I just borrow all of his.
I'm only going to lend you this one, and you have to like them.
Basically, yeah.
Well, and for Tucker, the way that it's not manipulation again, because it's a tactic. For Tucker, it's all about the hype level and excitement and passion, because Tucker tends to get a little bit of FOMO. So you can get him to kind of join, especially if 2 out of 3 of us have already done something, then Tucker has to do it, right?
I've gotten much better, like, because there's the Hollow Knight part of it where it's like, yeah, that's not my jam, and I'm okay with that.
And you're wrong.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Well, no, I
it reminds me of, do you remember when we straight up, so this was actual bullying, when we bullied Luke into buying an Xbox so we could play Destiny together? I remember that.
That was a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah, birth of Megabox.
Megabox. We used to, oh my gosh, Megabox. So we all had our own Xboxes and our own TVs. And whenever we would want to play Destiny into the wee hours of the night, we'd all get like folding chairs and like beanbag, and like we'd set up our consoles and TVs like on chairs and countertops and whatever we could. And we'd all put them in the same room, and we would all game on like 4 individual Xboxes on 4 individual TVs in the same room. and we'd play Destiny. It was fantastic.
Okay, how did we sync up the audio? I feel like that would be.
I have no idea. I think maybe did we wear headsets? I think we wore headsets,
Probably.
or maybe not.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But it was
But
a
yeah,
good time.
anyway, so Eric bought Destiny, and I watched him play it, and I'm like, oh, that looks like fun. I'm gonna go get an Xbox and also buy Destiny. And
In a
then
weird turn of
Luke-
events, Eric was the first one that bought a
Yeah.
multiplayer FPS.
yeah, strange days. And then Luke came home, and we really wanted him to play Destiny with us, and just straight up, just buy it, just do it, just buy
So
it.
we
went to
had this
Walmart.
saying.
We like drove him to the store and we're just like, do it, buy it. We like got it off the shelf and put it in his hands and like walked him up to the front and be like, buy this.
As a poor
We had a
college
saying
student, that
back
was
in
quite the
college.
investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our saying back in college was, think about it, just do it.
Yeah.
And it
Buy me
it was
this.
pretty much,
Buy
it
me
was
that.
like something
He's
that
a
we
little
all
soda
had.
candy, too.
It was something we had to abide by. Like if that was ever thrown at you, you weren't allowed to think anymore for yourself. You just had to do something.
So it was
Just
your
do
version
it.
of treat yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically, it was the poor college version of treat yourself was
Yeah.
do it,
It was-
buy this.
It
Yeah.
it was just peer pressure.
Yeah.
All right, so back to Resident Evil 1 Remake. So I've had this on the GameCube. The GameCube had, let's see, Resident Evil 0, 1, and 2, 3, and Veronica X. I think that's all of them that are on there. So the GameCube is the greatest console of
4.
all time for having... Oh, and 4. Yes, obviously.
The most important one, the best one.
And so... and some of those, like especially Veronica X, are incredibly difficult to collect because they're like in the $200 range now. And Resident Evil on GameCube, they all came with those little discs, and
so cute.
it had to be split into 2 different discs for I think every single entry except Resident Evil 2, 3, and I think 0, 1, and 4 all had 2 discs. Maybe Veronica X as well.
I think that Resident Evil 4 was just 1 disc, but I might be wrong about that. That's the only one that I own. So correct me if I'm wrong. Did it have 2, Shan? Pull it. Let's see.
Shan's gonna check it.
Oh,
No,
it's
you were
2!
right. You were right. It was 2. Yeah, they were big games. I mean, they were
Resident
normal
Evil
size
3?
games, but
1,
tiny
Resident
discs.
Evil 1, 2.
2. Well, there you go. I was wrong. I should have known better than to question Shan about Resident Evil things. That's like
many games I've
you don't do
swapped.
that. Yeah.
Over the
I
years.
have to complain about the 2-disc thing, and I've mentioned this in other episodes, but I only just started my Resident Evil, binging the series a year ago, and I borrowed Shan's, what do you call it? A Switch deck? What do you call that?
A Steam Deck.
Yes,
The
a
old
Steam
Switch.
Deck,
You've had
not
it
a
for
Switch.
over a year now.
You can have it back at any time.
Sure.
But I borrowed Shan's Steam Deck, and I took it on vacation, and I was like trying to play through the whole Resident Evil series, but it was really hard to do because some of these games had like they're 2 discs, but you don't have a physical disc. And so I kept trying to play the games, and it's like I got through Resident Evil 1 Remake, and then I got to the point where I had to switch discs, and I'm like, there's no disc. And so I spent over a day, I mean literally the whole day on my vacation, just trying to figure out how to like switch the disc when it's just a digital copy of the game.
Which you definitely legally obtained through ripping my physical copies that I have. here.
Definitely.
no
Definitely.
illegal wrongs.
100%
Yes.
how it happened.
Everybody here is incredibly ethical. We do everything above board. And that is our official statement on the matter.
And Shan's my scapegoat because it's not my copy.
trying
But
to
yeah,
make
so I
me
had
the
a really hard
scapegoat.
time. I was like messaging Shan. I was using ChatGPT. I was looking online, and I can't remember what finally did it, but I was like going into every little setting and everything, just trying to figure out how to switch the disc. And I did eventually do it, so I could finish the game.
Yay.
I
You
know. I have to say
interneted.
it now while
Yeah.
we're talking about that. Yeah.
All right. So as for this game, the development, it was built from scratch. So they did a complete overhaul of the entire game in 1 year and 10 months on proprietary GameCube engine. So they made their own engine as well. I don't know if this would later become Reach for the Moon engine or RE engine. I would like to look into that. No
'Cause the
assets
RE
were
engine
reused for the
is-
96 version. It is.
The
It's
RE
one of the
engine is
best.
like, and it's so scalable too. Because I mean, you play games like I on my like before I got the Switch 2, just on my standard Switch unit, there was a couple games on there that ran on the RE engine, like Monster Hunter Rise, and I'm just looking at this game like, how's this? Like, it looks way too good to be running on Switch, and it's just an incredibly scalable engine. And not just that, but like even on like high-end hardware, playing PS5 versions of like Resident Evil 4 and stuff, just like fantastic visuals.
Yeah. So, yes. Shinji Mikami, he personally directed it because he was dissatisfied with the first one's acting and pacing and lighting. I don't know why he decided that the acting in the later games was acceptable.
Let's be real. I don't know that there's ever been good acting in any Resident Evil game. Yeah.
That's going to be a pretty low bar where you're like, that's not good enough, but all these other installations are perfect.
I mean, but I don't, if you guys have ever because I played the original, I guess it was a port of the original technically, so the DS version, but I've played that one and I watched like a gameplay, like a long play of it one time. And it's like the acting is some of the worst. It's really bad, but in like a fun way where it's like it comes all the way back around to being good,
Yeah. I thought this was originally, when I played this game, I thought I just have to suffer with the story and the acting because it's just part of the package to play the game that I like to play, the survival horror and puzzles. And now that I am revisiting them decades later, I realize that like the beast camp horror is fundamental to the design, and I always thought that you achieved camp through just bad writing. Turns out it actually, you actually have to know how to do it well, and so
it's intentionally bad writing.
Yeah. Well, I would argue, it could have been brought up a little bit, like it's both bad and it was campy on purpose.
Yeah,
but
I love kind of Capcom games of this era because it's not like you get this vibe of like Capcom's not bad, they're just dumb. Like it's just this like when it comes to like telling stories, it's like they just don't know what you just want to pinch their cheeks and say, oh bless your heart, you're trying your best to make these characters interesting and compelling, and they're just silly and dumb, and I love it.
Yeah. But I actually think maybe it's also a good thing to do at this time to be able to keep the budget as small as they kept it. So a lot of the design that comes from like, especially this era, it's like you're in a lockbox puzzle space and you're trying to escape. And so you're retreading the same area over and over and over again. It just has flags to trip new horror elements. And it has some of the worst acting and writing that you've ever heard. And so I don't, it was right fitting its budget. I think that's what was going on. And so the first game only sold like under 2 million, I think, and would have otherwise been like a commercial failure for a AAA studio trying to do something much bigger for the amount of game that they created. So camp was right for its time, but now that they have money behind them, they're reimagining all of the series and taking the camp out while leaving the spirit of it in, and it's an amazing reimagining, so you still get both. So the design is critical to making this amazing. So obviously controversial yet beloved by people who grew up with it. Fixed camera angle with tank controls. This allowed them to control perspective and do some like low angle shots and stuff like that. It forced your perspective in a Kubrick type way to be able to frame where the horror was coming from or conceal horror so that you could only listen with your audio to be able to discern geospatially where the enemies were. So it was an element of taking control away from the player that really heightened the stakes and the tension.
Yeah, it's a hard style to go back to once you become accustomed to more modern games, but I do feel like it can be a lot of fun. I have distinct memories of when I was playing through this, even like on the DS when it was still not as dated as it is now, but still having a hard time with the tank controls and the fixed cameras and everything like that. But it does afford, like Shan was saying, this level of tension that you can't quite get the same way, because you can be running down the same hallway in a third person game or first person game where you'd have completely clear view of like what's in front of you. But then with the fixed camera angle, you're running down a hallway and then all of a sudden the camera changes angle and it's like, oh no, there's a zombie right on top of me. And it led to like more than a couple of jump scares and moments of panic where it was like, just catches you off guard. It also affords for the game's graphics and like the remake version for the GameCube and later ports of that version to be just drop dead gorgeous, because they had all of these beautiful pre-rendered graphics, which were really, really nice looking.
Yeah, they were 2K textures that they had completely hand painted for every room, and they would get like 3 to 6 different fixed angles from each matte painting, and then they would code like the directions and spaces that you could run on those spaces. And so this was, the highest fidelity looking game of its time. It was I thought, like, at the time I was like, games can't get better than this, especially that intro sequence where you're running through the forest and the dogs are trying to eat you.
So
I'm like,
good.
how is this?
I love it.
It's actually technically still amazing. It still looks really good and holds up really well.
Yeah. Well, and I love that when they do those pre-rendered backgrounds as well, it frees up a lot of storage space and memory for them to be able to make the character models for like the playable characters and the zombies and stuff a lot higher fidelity as well. And so it just like, it made it so that the character models didn't really look out of place on these really gorgeous pre-rendered backgrounds, which in older games that use similar techniques, sort of like Final Fantasy VII, where you have these, comparatively high fidelity backgrounds, and then these like polygonal characters in front of them that look like papercraft characters, which has its own kind of a charm. But in this game, it really affords a level of like really high fidelity characters for the time with really nice pre-rendered backgrounds, and it all came together, and it was really an incredible looking game.
Yeah,
you keep using this word. I actually don't know what it means. High fidelity.
It just means like really high quality,
high texture, high resolution.
High texture, yeah.
Okay, just wondering. You just kept using it. This word, what does it mean? Jabroni. That's what I was thinking of. But yeah, I was getting really curious because he kept saying it. I'm like, huh? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because the textures were so big, this couldn't have existed per se, like on a game or on an N64 where you use flash memory. A lot of those games use solid colors and such in very small textures because the memory was so slow it couldn't handle that. And so when you get these ports of like PlayStation 2 to N64 for Resident Evil 2, it's like they have to completely change how that works to be able to make it work. But because of this, it forced their hand into something that became iconic, if not frustrating, which is the forced door loading screens.
Oh, man.
Which build tension, but because they have to stream in those high resolution textures for every single room. But yeah, I don't know. It's iconic to the series, but they're not even the ones that invented it, it turns out.
Well, it feels like a holdover from like point and click adventure kind of style games. Like I feel like I remember stuff like that happening because I played Myst on my computer with my parents, and I really feel like something like that was in Myst. So
there's one specifically from 1992 called Alone in the Dark, and there's a little series about this. And this, if you go and look at some footage of this, you can see very clearly Shinji Mikami basically lifted the template of the mansion from this game and the door loading and everything. The only what he did was he basically smashed Alone in the Dark and that mansion labyrinth, whatever design philosophy, with like inventory management and survival horror concepts from another game that was more of an RPG called Sweet Home from 1989. And I believe it never made it out of Japan, so you have to get ROMs with translation packs or something to be able to play it here in the States. But that means that you have to fly out to Japan, you have to go buy the cart or buy it from eBay, then you have to come back, you have to dump it, and then because you have to legally own it, and then you have to go get that translation and stick it into the folder.
Well, I mean, really, you should probably translate it yourself just to be safe. So,
just to be safe.
Yeah.
Never want to cross that line. it's a free descent into just moral ambiguity and Breaking Bad. So you don't want to do that to yourself.
Yeah, it goes from pirating straight to meth. That is
No,
it's the gateway drug.
Yeah.
Right. So from the delta between the original and the remake, they added a bunch of concepts. So this, as far as I could tell, as far as I could scour, this was the first full remake, especially at least of a AAA studio. So remakes
like of
didn't
Resident
really
Evil
exist.
or of any game?
Of any game.
Really? I'm gonna do some Google research while y'all talk for a minute. That's fascinating.
Like we had remasters, like Super Mario it had the exact same game code, but they swapped out all the sprites. But if you're looking at pure remake from the ground up, everything's reimagined, I think this is the first one. And then 2 years later, we get Metroid Zero Mission, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And also in 2004, we get Leaf Green and Fire Red.
Oh, I was gonna ask, what about Leaf Green? That was where my brain went. So I guess this came out before that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Right?
I'm not getting anything on like my first Google results page, and I don't feel like doing any more than that. So I'm gonna trust you. That sounds right. I believe you.
It's the most that I could find. I had to argue with AI. I was like, this is what I consider to be a remake. Does anything else match that standard?
Oh, you know what? Super Mario Brothers 1 and 2 were remade for the Super Nintendo.
No.
I don't
Those
know
were
if they just reskinned it or if they had to build it from the ground up on the engine that they used for Super Mario World. They might
I
have
believe
just
those were
reskinned
just
it.
sprite swaps.
Yeah.
So it's a remaster by today's standards.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay.
But now this studio, Capcom, especially the one working on Resident Evil, I think they have the most remakes to their name of any...
These guys know how to do it. They make some good remakes. Yeah.
So the best remakes ever made all come from this studio. So what do you think it takes to make a good remake?
The budget and willingness to say we're going to spend money on this IP that we've already fleshed out.
So not Resident Evil 3. It doesn't qualify.
Yeah. No, and I guess that's just some cojones to say from a business perspective, be like, you know what? Let's do that again. I mean, Resident Evil 4, that was, they've done that one 18 different times. But like 3 is a good example. It's like, hey, we did not do great here. We're just going to do it again, but better. Like that's a hard pitch to sell. Like, hey, remember that game we made a few years ago that didn't sell at all? Well, we want to do that again.
Well, I talked recently. We did an indie episode about Yuka Replayly, which is like somewhere in between a remake and a whole new game. And so that one, I feel like it was a really interesting case where they were like, yeah, it's exactly that, Tucker, where they released a game to sort of like lukewarm reception. And they definitely were like, okay, well, we missed some things. We got some things wrong. Let's just try again and do it right this time. But I feel like a lot of remakes are less about like trying again and doing it right. Especially it's like reimagining something that was already beloved. Because Resident Evil, warts and all, was a game that was, beloved. And I especially like Resident Evil 4. Everybody loves Resident Evil 4. I mean, most people I've talked to really like it's a inarguably a phenomenal game, especially for the time that it came out. And the remake is fantastic because it stays true to what made the original Resident Evil 4 an important landmark title, but it also reimagines and does things new and different without breaking too far away from what you would expect from that game. So Shan and I texted back and forth while I was playing through this for the first time, and we actually did a short series about this, but it felt like Resident Evil 4 Remake felt like playing Resident Evil 4 again for the first time, because it was like familiar but surprising somehow. And so I don't know the exact special sauce that they did, but that is the perfect remake for me. That's the best one I've ever played.
Some passion from the developers on it, because it's not just a straight money grab. Like, I mean, you look at, I'm gonna use Battlefront, so Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, beloved games, like when they came out on PlayStation 2 and that era of gaming. And then EA said, "Oh, let's remake them." And I was stoked because I loved those games. Bought them, and it was just the saddest
poop farts.
Yeah, just straight poop farts.
Should have known better with EA. I did the same
cash
thing.
grab and passion.
Exactly. That was a cash grab. It's like, hey, here's this awesome IP that we know people loved, that people still play the crap out of and still emulate. Let's bring it up to the modern standards. And then it was just that, a cash grab.
Well, because it wasn't Battlefront.
No.
Or it wasn't Star Wars which is the Battlefront? It wasn't it wasn't Star Wars Battlefront. It was just Battlefield with Star Wars like skins on everything. It just felt like a modern FPS slog. Yeah.
Yeah, I think critical to making a remake perfect is you are essentially allowed to do whatever you want as far as modernizing gameplay controls. Beyond that, and also graphical presentation. Beyond that, you have to recapture every single... I think you just got to get everybody in a room and say, what were your favorite parts of this game? And you kind of create a hierarchy of like, these are the things that fundamentally cannot change, but we can either keep them equally good or improve them, and we have to subvert it so that it feels like they're playing it for the first time. And so whatever that special like sauce, that perfect balance on treating people to the nostalgia and passion that they had for the original, while also giving them the experience again for the first time, that's exactly what this studio does better than anyone. And Resident Evil 4 Remake is the best remake of all time. Because
I'd agree with that. It's very, very good.
Right. An example
Emerlie had her hand raised. What did you? Okay. I feel like I kept talking over you on accident.
No, it's okay. I was gonna try and get in, but everyone had things to say. Do you want to finish what you're saying, Shan?
No. I was gonna say one example of this that you can kind of see how it echoes throughout all of the remakes, especially into RE4 Remake, is the original Resident Evil had the dog jump scare of how he jumps in through the window, and he intentionally took that and he put it somewhere else so that it betrays your memory, but you still get the scare just later in the game. And like that defines basically every single thing they changed about Resident Evil 4 while still respecting it.
Well, besides the dog jumping through the window, there's also in RE4 Remake, they changed where you save the dog or how you save the dog, right?
Yeah. So the first time you see the dog or the wolf, he is already dead, and you're like, that's an important part of the original game. He's my best friend, and he's supposed to be within like the first 5 minutes of the game. Instead, you just see a dead wolf, and you're like, okay, I don't know what this game is anymore. But then you get the wolf later.
Yeah, so they still
in the most badass way possible.
Yeah, they still made it like unexpected, like, oh my gosh, you still get that moment. I really loved the dog that they have, or wolf, whatever. And then when he comes back later and helps you with the troll, I love it. So I was going to say like some examples of times where games were remade or reimagined or remastered, whatever, where it worked and where it didn't. Like Link's Awakening, they did such a fantastic job with that remake where it's completely different graphics, it's modernized, it's like little chibi characters, they're adorable. I don't think a lot else changed there, and I loved it so much. But a time where it didn't work for me was with Skyward Sword. I've tried to play, I've beat a lot of Zelda games, and one of the games I cannot beat is Skyward Sword. I've tried that over and over and over again, but the controls sucked so bad.
It's just a remaster. They didn't do enough to change it.
They didn't do enough. I didn't see anything different as far as I got, but I was so excited. I bought this new game at full price, and I was like, yes, they must have fixed the controls, because a lot of people complained about it. Nothing. It was the same controls, because I love Twilight Prince. Not enough.
Well, they gave you options to do button controls. Did you do the button controls?
It's been so long, I don't know.
Okay, they're not great. They're still hard to use, but you can use. But you can like use the stick instead of motion controls. But I agree, Skyward Sword is probably the hardest Zelda game to. I mean, I beat it like 3 or 4 times, but it's probably the hardest one for me to revisit because I butt up
It makes
against
me so angry.
the
I'm only going to play
controls.
it one time every 3 years.
I still really like it. Even bad Zelda games are good games in my heart. Like
I really
just,
want to love it. Like the story itself, I really enjoyed, but I have yet to beat it because of the controls. Like mechanics are something that will kill a game faster for me than anything else. And when I loved Twilight Princess, I used to play it like every single summer. I've beat that game too many times. And the fact that you could run and like ride on the back of your horse and you could swing your sword around at the same time and it matched your movements. And then you get a game immediately after Skyward Sword, also with the Wii control or remote, and you go to do the same thing. And anytime you start swinging your sword, your character stops. And then you barely shuffle and you start swinging, and then you have to keep stopping. And it was just a regression of those mechanics, and the frustration sets in, and I can't get very far in that game.
Since we're already talking about Zelda, I already had a segment in here to bring up Zelda in some capacity. So
there you go.
Resident Evil as a franchise, at least for like mainline entries, is one of the franchises with the most games above a 90 Metacritic. And so it's not one that immediately comes to mind when you think which franchises would have hit that, but Resident Evil has 7 games above 90.
Yeah, I mean, all of their mainline games are pretty much like, I mean, there's a few stinkers, but most of them are really, really solid games.
A lot of them are Shinji Mikami. So Resident Evil 4 has a 96, directed by Shinji Mikami. Code Veronica, produced by Shinji Mikami at 94. RE4 Remake at 93. Only
Remake, 93 for the
about.
RE4 Remake? Gosh, it's like a 99, easy. RE Remake, the one we're talking about, 91. Shinji Mikami directed this one as well. So he only directed, I believe, 2 of them, and it's Resident Evil 1 and 4. So that guy, he produced a lot of others, though. What's the Metacritic score for Resident Evil 6? 5?
I only went down to 13, and it's not even on the list.
Hang on. I'm going to look it up.
All right, so RE3, 91. RE1, the original, 91. So both of those produced by Shinji Mikami. RE2 Remake, 91. RE2, the original, 89. So that's where we break into below 90. RE2, also Shinji Mikami. So 7 games above 90.
RE6 is 67, which is higher than I would have guessed.
Right. So which franchises do you think has as many or more above 90 Metacritic?
Mario?
Yeah.
Metroid?
Yes. So Mario, it has, let's see, a grand total of...
How many mainline Mario... What counts as a mainline Mario game? How many mainline Mario games are there? 50?
I think it has like 14 or 15 above 90, but that's where we have to group it because mainline Mario, the 2D and 3D, only has 5.
Okay.
And so I tried to exclude ports and stuff like that so that games wouldn't get double counted.
I mean, Zelda, I'd say Metroid, but Metroid, I don't know if Metroid has had enough entries to... They're all really good, but
Metroid only had like 3.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. But Zelda, right? Zelda's got to be up there. 18 mainline, 20 mainline entries now.
Zelda beats Resident Evil at 8.
Nice.
So it's Ocarina of Time, Breath of Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Majora's Mask, Link to the Past, and Four Swords. So not the original Link to the Past for some reason, but the one that got ported to the Game Boy.
The Game Boy Advance one. Huh. Weird.
I don't know.
Wait, did you say Link's Awakening? Was Link's Awakening on there?
No, Link's Awakening is not on there.
Oh, that's a crime. That one's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Was that one Capcom? The only other one, Link Between Worlds. That's the last one. So I know Capcom did the Oracle
of
games.
Ages, Oracle of Seasons, and Minish Cap for Game Boy Advance.
Minish Cap. Okay, so who was it that did Link's Awakening?
That was Nintendo. That was like an in-house team at Nintendo. They were originally making trying to remake a Link to the Past for the Game Boy, and then it kind of like shot off into a different project. But it was an internal team at Nintendo. So
mixed assets and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so the only other ones that I could find, Grand Theft Auto and Final Fantasy each have 7.
Oh yeah, that
And
tracks.
How many times is Grand
Metal
Theft Auto
Gear has
5 on
5.
that list?
Wait, which?
No, I excluded it.
Which GTA games? I'm curious.
Let's see. 4, 5, San Andreas, Vice City, 3, Chinatown Wars, which I didn't know existed, and Grand Theft Auto 4, The Ballad of Gay Tony. So
That's like a that
is
one.
that
It's like a big DLC, but it's DLC. So
okay, so we'll exclude that. So now they're below Resident Evil.
interesting.
Final Fantasy though.
I mean, there have been so many Final Fantasy. There were the mainline ones. They're up to 16 now, I think. So, and they've got a few stinkers too, but a lot of them are really good. Except for Final Fantasy VI, I hate it. Everybody should hate it. It's a stupid game. It's a very unpopular opinion that I have, but I hate that game. It's dumb.
Is the 6th one in a series like always going to just be cursed to be bad?
I don't know, maybe. Well, no, because Final Fantasy VI is lauded by basically everyone as one of the best in the series and one of the best JRPGs of all time, and I can't stand that game.
Really?
It has so many
just a personal
glaring,
issue.
obvious design flaws that I don't understand how other people don't see.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy is tied for 4 remakes with Resident Evil franchise.
Well, they take one. They have one game right now, one that has 2 remakes. Final Fantasy
And they don't
VII.
get
They're
a
splitting
third.
it up they're splitting it up into 3 parts, and the first 2 parts are out. So one
We didn't
old
learn
game
this
into
lesson.
with the
We
Hobbit.
didn't learn this lesson with The Hobbit. Yeah. 2 would have been fine. As far as numbers that I could find, they're probably not 100% accurate. Resident Evil is the 12th most sold franchise as far as units pushed at 154 million. So probably not 100% accurate, but at least
Ballpark.
nearing the top 10. It's like it's a sleeper franchise though. It's like most people, it feels like it's a cult thing. You're in horror or you're not. And yet for it to have like lived this long and pushed out so many titles, it just it's always on that list. Oh, I had to point out, I looked up Pokemon thinking it would have more above 90. It has 0 games above 90.
Yeah,
That's
well, it's because
surprising
they've made the same game
consider-
20 times. Yeah.
But I would think like maybe some
Pokemon
Game Boy
Yellow.
Color ones. Yeah, like Yellow would be up there.
Yeah, some of the OG ones,
Sapphire Red, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Heart Gold,
that's-
Soul
that's
Silver, or
rough.
something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Gold and Silver. I can't believe that's not up there.
What about
So
Hey
it
You
turns out-
Pikachu?
Pokemon Snap. So it turns out that Game Freak hasn't been resting on their laurels because they've never had any. Oh.
Except Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah, except for I'm being facetious. They've got a lot of good games. I'm just
But barely. Not in the last like
I mean
2
not
decades.
lately. Yeah, not
Yeah,
not
the last
lately.
20 years.
It's been a minute since a real Game Freak banger, but
Yeah. Anyway, so Resident Evil, highly successful franchise. What does it do right? I don't know. It just fused 2 genres that belong together, which is horror and puzzles. And throughout the franchise, it has kind of gone back and forth on what it means to balance those to the point where we almost don't have puzzles anymore.
yeah, I love the puzzles in this game. Particularly, I feel like what I love about the Resident Evil series is when they do that. They merge the combat with the puzzles, and they merge that horror with puzzles. And I feel like the first game leans really hard on the puzzles. It almost feels like a point and click adventure rather than than an action game, because your ammo is so limited and zombies take so many bullets that you're pretty actively discouraged from shooting zombies. It's much more prudent to kind of run around them and try to just avoid them, at least until you can get the gasoline and burn them so they don't come back as the what are they called, the Crimson Head zombies?
Crimson Heads, yeah.
The Crimson Head. But I love that it's like so focused on puzzles and so focused on you kind of like figuring out and escaping this mansion that you're almost encouraged to avoid combat with the zombies because they're hard to kill and you have really limited resources, and it just makes you feel extra scared and alone. And even in with the like old silly chunky graphics of the original, it had a pretty effective atmosphere because of that.
Okay, so cue my complaint that I've mentioned in other episodes of other games. I did not know about Crimson Heads. I don't feel like that was
You're not
explained
supposed
well
to.
enough.
I wasn't going to tell you.
Yeah, apparently you should have told me.
It's a fun surprise. Yeah.
No, but like when I play games like this, like I have to clear a room every single time. I don't like running past enemies, and so I was definitely running out of ammo, and I was really struggling with this game. And I was so directionally challenged that I kept circling the mansion, and I kept forgetting like where I was and how to get to different places. So I just kept circling over and over and over again. And these zombies would just randomly come back to life sometimes, not always, but sometimes. And I ran out of ammo. It was so frustrating. And I had no idea that there was what Crimson Heads were. I didn't know what that was until I was finished with the game and Shan told me. But I was like, I remember like having the lighter and I think the fluid or something. And I was like, when am I going to use this? Like, when is the puzzle?
What is this for? Yeah.
What is this for? And like, I got it so early.
Where's the lighter shaped door where I'm supposed to put this in?
This is a great souvenir for my trip to the mansion.
Apparently. And like, I remember like picking it up early on in the game. And I think I ended up putting it away in a chest. And I'm like, well, I don't know when that
I'll never
puzzle
need
is
this
going to
again.
come up. Like, why did they give it to me
It's
so
a core
early?
item.
Yeah, but I had no idea. So it just sat in a chest. I never used it. I had no idea. And I died so many times.
Yeah,
and I
this
ran
sounds
out
like
of
it's on
ammo
you.
way too often. And then like, there's that part in the mansion where if it says the doorknob is broken. And if you
It's
walk
going
through,
to break, yeah.
yeah. And if you walk through it too many times, then it breaks. And then you have to go the long way around. I cannot truly explain to you guys how many times I circle jerk this mansion just over and over and over and over again.
That's not what circle jerk means.
I know,
Yeah,
but I
that's
wanted to
definitely
use
not
it
what
anyways. I felt taken advantage of here. So that's why I'm going to use that term inappropriately. But yeah, like that, I was so frustrated. This game
In a
took me
circle jerk,
hours
everybody's left satisfied.
Yeah,
always left me
there's-
satisfied and smiling.
Yeah, there's some consent that is involved in a circle jerk. You can't really
Okay,
take
my bad.
advantage of.
I know what a circle jerk is. I just decided to throw it in there. My goodness. I've never participated, but I know what it is.
Obviously.
It
shows.
You can't.
Reminds me of a top 10 moment of Parks and Recreation where Ron's like, oh, good Lord, I don't remember this. And it's a picture of him with a bunch of naked men. He's like, yeah, but look how generous they're being with each other.
It's when April like photoshops all of the heads of the old like Parks and Rec division people on like this weird. Yeah, I don't remember this. Look how generous they're being.
Yes. Anyways, the point is, this game was I loved this game. It's so incredibly frustrating. Continue.
Yeah, this game rewards geospatial memorization and I come to find out just now that one of the intentional game design decisions was to make the room geometry non-Euclidean. So if you were to map it to an actual physical space, they wouldn't overlap perfectly. Some of the vertical spaces defy gravity and stuff like that. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable and make it harder to memorize this labyrinthine space. However, in my head, I'm just thinking maybe they just... it was a cheap way to say we didn't want to spend the resources figuring it out.
Oh yeah,
It's
we
like
totally
the
meant to
older-
do that.
Yeah,
not
doesn't
a
it make
bug,
you
it's a
feel
feature
uneasy?
type of thing. Yeah.
It's not a bug, it's a feature. That was the first instance of it's not a bug, it's a feature. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fancy way of saying this person didn't know how to paint.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. So as far as that balance of like puzzles and rhythm to horror that I feel like is absolutely perfect in this game. Like there are elements that you can draw on from any other game in this franchise that I feel like, okay, you did that better, you did this better. Whereas in Resident Evil 1 Remake, the reason why, even if I don't say it's the greatest of all of them, I think it's the best perfect encapsulation of the formula and perfected. And even Shinji Mikami has said that himself, even after having created Resident Evil 4, because obviously that's barely horror at that point. But
hard disagree. Resident Evil 4 rules. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he just really it became impossible to be able to maintain the tank controls and fixed angles with modern gameplay concepts that existed. And so it felt like he probably preferred the directive control and the horror he was able to create with that. And so more than just like the puzzle solving and the inventory management, he thought that this was the perfect version of what horror could be from him. And so the classic Resident Evil games, a lot of them have this balance really well. Resident Evil 0 has it, but people didn't like it because of the swapping between characters. Resident Evil 2 didn't have as many puzzles. It wasn't as diegetic and embedded in the narrative. I think that's really one of the classic things that make this franchise perfect, that for what it is, that modern games don't really get into, is having these slow, methodical puzzles that have diegetic meaning into the story. So anytime they threw in like Easter eggs or hidden passageways in the mansion, they had to justify it with lore or some storytelling mechanic. And so it made the puzzles just that much more satisfying. You're constantly combining things and running back and forth because you're remembering how this combined item could fit into this empty space that you saw like 3 hours earlier. I also love the tension that provides, to be able to be like, you have to remember how to navigate to that space and avoid obstacles while saving your resources. But also because you have inventory management issues where it's like, if you don't know what's coming up, then that might cause a backtrack that you weren't hoping for. So just like it's like a real-time strategy game where you're constantly reevaluating, do I actually need these items, or am I going to screw with myself if I leave it in my box? And it's even more frustrating when you've played the game and you still don't remember and you still leave it in the box. Resident Evil 3 was more action. It didn't have as many puzzles. Veronica X, I think the reason why it's a cult classic and regarded as one of the best is because it's very high diegetic puzzle balance and one of the last perfect Resident Evil games. But then when you start pushing into horror, Resident Evil 4 started doing puzzles embedded in the gameplay. So it's like you're just flipping switches as monsters are attacking you because it's more action based. The pace has to be faster. So they had to slowly ditch the pacing of, I just had like an ebb and flow of like high tension. Now I'm going to take a break with some puzzle solving. They're separate instead of being connected.
Yeah.
Eventually we just lost puzzles altogether.
Yeah, I'd say 5 and 6, like a little bit in 5, and then 6 just all the way out the window. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, I haven't finished 6, so I don't know. I got a few hours into that game and I said, I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Some fantastic moments from this game. You get the first zombie encounter. So you get into that room and that zombie does the slow turn towards you. I think that moment is embedded in anybody who played it as a kid. Very well directed. It's very simple.
It's a quintessential classic video game moment, because it's like Resident Evil was probably a lot of kids' first like horror game. I wasn't really allowed to play like really gory, bloody games and stuff like that. So I'd go and I'd play them at my friend's house. But this is one of the first ones that I had like in my hands because I had it on a handheld, and so it was easy to hide from my parents. But I remember that scene. You get in there and the slow turning and the zombie over your shoulder, and it's very like, it's a famous video game moment. It's akin to like getting the Master Sword for the first time in A Link to the Past, or I don't have other examples off the top of my head, other important game moments. But yeah, it's amazing. It's so good.
Now, a lot of the most iconic moments that you probably remember if you haven't played it in 10 years are all in the remake that he added after the fact, weren't in the original. So the delayed dog jump scare in the hallway, the first Crimson Heads didn't exist before. Lisa Trevor entirely added storyline to be able to connect it to the other games that they had been releasing since then. So I love the typewriter scared. So probably one of the most inhumane things that a creator can do is establish a safe space and then subvert it by throwing a zombie or a monster in there.
Rude.
Yeah. Obviously, this happens in The Last of Us at the safe
I
benches.
love that part though.
Yeah, the workbench, yeah. But it's always good.
Yeah, but
You're
I
always
was so
allowed to do it
squealy
one
the
time.
first time. Yeah. Yeah, when you go up to the bench and you're like, okay, I'm in a locked apartment, like I haven't run into any enemies for quite some time, and you see a bench where you can work on your gun, and at no point in the first or second game have you ever had enemies around a bench. And then they like bum rush you when you go to use it. The moment you start pulling out your gun, you get bum rushed. So
But
now,
the
like,
reason-
what you do is you put up a bunch of grenades before you go up to it, so that they all blow up, and like literally their body parts will just scatter all over the room. Yeah.
Looks like
That's
someone
all
was
that
prepared, mofos. Yeah.
No, and the reason that Last of Us, I think, is the best version of this ever done is because they had diegetic clues that you were going to get bum rushed. So you go into this room and you see that this room is well lived in. You see clues that people were just here, maybe even in the last hour. And so it's the foreshadowing that you're completely neglecting your first time through the game, such that if you replay it, you're like, oh, duh, it was all there. I just wasn't paying attention. That, I think, it, like, sure, this game, I think, you know, a zombie just kind of like pops through a door or something like that in the safe room when it wasn't supposed to, and you're like, that wasn't supposed to happen. I think foreshadowing makes it better. But another one that I think is absolutely perfect is The Last of Us Part 2, pushing a box and then having it collapse, and then suddenly you're in the arcade and you have a bloater just attacking you because it's 5 feet away from you.
Yeah,
That's one of my
That's a good
very
one.
favorite moments.
fantastic, and it gets me every
Well, and
single time.
Yeah,
always
I
forget
forgot about it.
I
forgot about it the second time. Yeah, because I 100%, I was like, I had a vague memory of like, I think I'm going to have to fight some bad guys soon. But like, that's as far as like, and then I push the thing, breaks through the floor and falls on it. It's like, oh, it's right now. That's happening right now. Right now is what I remembered vaguely. Yeah.
One of the worst
5
ones
seconds
was
of the wind up.
I played Silent Hill 2 Remake, and then I had my niece play it, who's like new to horror games. She's only like 15 years old, and I'm like, Silent Hill 2, this is great for you. And it's like the part where
Where you
you're
get the
underground.
flashlight? Oh,
No, that one terrified me. But it's like where you're kind of underground, and like there's almost like a room that Pyramid Head supposedly lives in. And he's like circling this hallway,
Yeah.
and he's kind of chasing after you. And like I was like, oh, you're fine, like just run in there and he can't get you. And so she ran into like his little center room, and she like turns around and just stares out the window because the door has windows, and she like looks back at him and she's like, oh, okay. And she relaxed. I'm like, you're fine. Like, I wasn't lying to her. I legitimately thought she was okay and she was in a safe space, and the door was shut, so like, you're fine. And then he just like came through the door and she was screaming. She was so mad at me.
Pyramid Head
Oh,
can't
she
come
was
through
fine.
doors. Yeah.
Isn't that the same for like the other Resident Evil game where you have the big guy following you? There's like
Mr.
where you
X?
think you're Mr. X. There's
No,
like a safe
and
space.
Nemesis.
Sorry.
And Nemesis and Resident Evil 3. Yeah, but no, in Resident Evil 2,
might
I never
go
played the
through one.
original, but in the remake, I don't think there's a time where he subverts that. I think the safe rooms are always safe. You can
No.
like open the door and stare right at him, or does it? I don't remember.
Maybe I'm just thinking of Pyramid Head, but yeah.
You want to talk about like wasted potential? Like, I still enjoyed the Resident Evil 3 remake. I played it like 4 or 5 times.
Well,
And
because
it
it's so
is
short. It's easy to
and it
replay.
is-
It's only a few hours long.
the worst remake they've done. It is very unfortunate that it fell so far from the original. It's because they cut content and they didn't add to it.
Yeah.
And
Should have known that was a bad idea.
and Nemesis himself wasn't nearly as intimidating. He's not chasing you nearly as often. And what else? Oh, and the original had replayability through split time decision making. So it can go down 2 paths at like, I don't know, 8 different moments in the game, and that changes the ending. They just completely took out one of the core mechanics of the game and to like make it cheaper to make.
Yeah, and even so, I haven't played the original Resident Evil 3, and even I played Resident Evil
You'll
3
piss
Remake,
yourself.
and I was all right.
It's the scariest one.
But so just to give that context, I played the Resident Evil 3 Remake, and I was like, that was fun. Like I liked that, but I wasn't like, this is amazing. Like I was with the Resident Evil 2 Remake, I was like, this is amazing. I love this game. And the Resident Evil 4 Remake, I was like, this is one of the best things I've ever played. And the Resident Evil 3 one, I was like, that was fun. I liked that. But it wasn't nearly as good as the other ones.
One other major moment that I wanted to call out, Neptune, the shark. It almost feels completely random. You start seeing like plants and spiders and sharks. Oh my.
Zombie shark.
And you get down into this shark tank in the mansion. You're like, why the hell do they have a shark tank? And
Do you pitch your
but the
business
reason
idea
that
in the Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they can pitch all their ideas.
It's hard to keep it. Take 10% of your company for $400,000.
And for that reason,
for the
I'm out.
exposure.
Yeah.
But the reason I think this is one of the most iconic moments in the entire game is because it was a puzzle with consequences and it was temporal. So you're trying to, in real time, solve a puzzle, running back and forth, flipping switches and levers. All the while, Neptune is banging his head against the glass. And
He is not a normal shark. Yeah. He is
you can
very
only
upset.
fail. You can only fail like 3 times, and you're like, well, that's just it. I'm dead. And just like, I don't know, the perfection of that tension. Usually I hate time-based trials. It feels artificial. And yet at the same time, it's like, this is one of my favorite moments of the entire game. And it's so terrifying.
Yeah, if you do it right, they can be a lot of fun.
I have to slip this in there, and you guys have already heard this, but this is for our viewers, is that when I played Neptune and I was on Shan's Steam Deck, I got, just like playing through the game, I got too used to using the save state, and so I kept saving every couple seconds, but I stopped using the ink ribbon to save the game, like actually in the game, and so I got to Neptune, and I kept squealing, and I kept trying to move, and I kept getting eaten by this shark, and so I just kept like rewinding, and then I got like, you know, I'd walk into the room a little bit more, and then I was stupid and did the save state, and I did it right before Neptune jumped out of the water and like gobbled me up. And so I got stuck in this endless loop of there's nothing I could do. I just kept coming back to that moment where I couldn't move an inch before he ate me. And so I had to backtrack several hours in the game. And then I started actually using the ink ribbon from then. Do not depend on save state. But yeah, Neptune, not as memorable for me, like not in a good way as it is for you. I hated Neptune.
Yeah, so Emerlie, this concept in gaming has become known as save scumming, where you use save states so dependently and you always try to alter every minuscule negative outcome.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that not how you play games? Yeah.
This was my first introduction to save state.
Save states all the way.
We're adults.
Listen,
we don't have time.
Well, so, and I mean, I feel like it's a good balance, right? So, example, I played a lot of the old Mega Man games. Mega Man games are very, very difficult with not enough checkpoints. And so when I would complete, like, I wouldn't like pause in the air and then, oh, I got hit one time, I got to rewind. But it's like when I'd complete a difficult platforming section, I would save state because I was like, okay, I've proved to myself I can do that. I don't want to do it again if I trip like over the next enemy or something like that, you know? So I'm all for save states to make retro games more accessible. Totally here for that.
Yeah, but the tension is gone. And so it is a balance. I wish it was somewhere in between.
You gotta...
the worst save scum I'll ever do is probably Ridley in Metroid. What's it called? The good one.
Fusion?
No, the Super Metroid.
Oh, Super Metroid. Yeah, Ridley is tough in that game.
I will save scum every single time I land a hit, and I'll rewind every single time he hits me.
Because screw that guy.
And I'll still almost die every time. Yeah. Oh, that and what's it called? Mother Brain. That one's also very tedious because you have everything flying at you from every direction.
Yeah, it's a lot going on.
All right.
So on the subject of saving things, that's my main beat. Well, one of the reasons I really want to play this Resident Evil remake, I think I'd enjoy it. I want to play it, but like I don't love the ink ribbon saving system. I totally understand its appeal. I understand how it like makes you think about saving. It makes your consequences. It adds the tension. I understand from a gameplay perspective why it serves the genre, but it is something that I don't enjoy that. Like, because so like having a finite number of resources that let you save your game is something that only stresses me out and is the number one, literally the only reason why I haven't played this remake. I'm waiting for them to remake it again, like they have with the RE2 and RE4, because I think that they will. And because I want to experience this game again, but it's like I have no interest in feeling that level of anxiety because I can't save whenever I feel like I want to save, you know?
Yeah, Resident Evil 3, they kept hearing that complaint, and then they got to, you still have an ink ribbon you have to carry with you, so you have inventory management, but you have infinite saves. And that was a pretty good balance.
Yeah.
I would like, if they do a remake, to have like classic mode and
give us
modern.
options.
That
Give
would
us
be pretty
options.
cool
I'm
to
fine
me.
with that. Yeah.
So here's what I think. So as far as what's on the horizon for Resident Evil remakes, we know Requiem is coming out in February.
Requiem.
Beyond that, it's been rumored that Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 5 are being remade at this time, and maybe Veronica X. And so my opinion is this is the most efficient way to create the assets, because you have Resident Evil 9, we're creating modern Raccoon City. We're just creating it in a super dilapidated state, so they can just use a lot of that same geospatial layout that they've now created and bring it back to, well, I guess Resident Evil 1 doesn't need it. But some of the mansion assets and the city assets and stuff they could reuse. Then, let's see, which one is it? Resident Evil 0, they get to cast Rebecca. And they also, in Resident Evil 0, they have a mansion that's, technically they were just asset flipping from Resident Evil 1. They were reusing the mansion, but they're like, but this is a different mansion that was built somewhere near. And this is how it ties into the lore.
It's a totally different place. Come look at it.
It's a completely different mansion.
Yeah.
So they get to start creating the mansion assets. And then Veronica X also has a partial mansion in the
so many mansions.
Game. Yeah. So they just kept reusing the mansion asset. But throughout all of this, they get to cast the characters and they get to create the assets and Raccoon City all in a very efficient way, so that they can then get, and they also get to delay remaking Resident Evil Remake for this for second time, because I don't think any game in history has been remade a second time.
So, I mean, none that I can think of. There must be something, but like, yeah, none that I can think of.
And then as far as Resident Evil 5, that's just continuing Resident Evil 4, and maybe you get to flesh out Chris and Wesker, who are also integral to Resident Evil 1.
The real question is, will Chris's arms in the Resident Evil 5 remake be just as ridiculously large, and will his head be just as hilariously tiny?
If they really need to exaggerate, that's the best part of the game. Is
just big old bowling balls up his sleeves. Yeah.
He has no neck.
Yeah, just the neck that starts right here at his shoulders and connects right under his ears. It's just a triangle. With a teeny tiny tic tac of a head on top. Yeah, with Lego hair. Just
yeah. It's like a what's his bucket? Tom Hardy in Warrior? Is that what it is?
Oh yeah, the UFC movie. Gosh, that movie rules.
Just Tom Hardy, just his straight neck.
Just his neck that just.
You know what? Who else did that? Zac Efron kind of beefed up in that way at one point, and Bradley Cooper for American Sniper and such.
Yeah.
But yeah,
also
it's not appealing look. I don't know that this muscle right here on your neck needs to be worked out as much as they work it out.
You do this. You give it the.
I can understand Batman. He's got to deal with that huge, what is it called?
He's got to fill out that cowl. Yeah.
Yeah, the cowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cowl.
He's got to fill it
Emerlie, you tell us, are these neck muscles actually attractive when they're massive?
No, they're not.
They're the best when they're huge, gigantic, right?
No, you just look like you have thyroid issues.
Look like a tree
I
trunk.
don't enjoy it. I do. Like, I think when veins pop out, it can be kind of weirdly attractive, but no, like, yeah, when it's beefed up, you just look like you need to go to a doctor. But, yeah.
All right. Well, as far as the game story and everything else goes, I don't know. Did you want to talk about Jan, the snake, the first Crimson Head, Plant 42, Neptune, the shark, Black Tiger, the spider, Lisa Trevor, Tyrant T002? These are all the core enemies of the game. Any of those that you want to say anything about?
I'm just going to say that I think I killed all my team members, and that's my contribution to this part.
Goodbye, Barry.
Goodbye, Barry. Oh my gosh, Barry has the best line, and I'm trying to remember if this is in the remake or in the original. But when Jill
They
almost gets
changed
squished,
it in the remake.
yeah, I didn't even have to finish. Shan knew what I was talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, because it's the best line.
it's the best
But-
line.
So they nerfed it in the remake. But go ahead.
That's too bad. Well, because I don't even. You're in the underground lab, I think, and you almost get squished by. I don't remember what, but Barry just very dramatically goes, "My goodness, you were almost a Jill sandwich," and it's the best line in that game and maybe any game. Like, it's just delivered with such apathy, and it's my favorite. I
What
love
about
it
the
so
bingo
much.
line at the
The
beginning
bingo
of Resident
line-
Evil 4?
No,
It's
no, no.
probably
That's
a
good.
close second. Yeah.
No. There's like campy bad and campy good, and
Yeah.
this is all campy bad. Whereas
Just-
Resident Evil
just
4 is all
straight up
campy
bad.
good.
Yeah. You were almost a
it-
Jill sandwich.
You go back and you play. I think the worst one, as far as I can remember, was Resident Evil 3. The worst voice acting I've ever heard, in combination with some of the worst dialogue ever written. It's delivered so flat.
There is. I looked up one time like the worst voice acting ever in video games. I forget which Mega Man game it is, but there's one Mega Man game where Dr. Light, like the happy bearded guy who creates Mega Man, is the good guy, and then Dr. Wily is like the mustachioed bad guy. But he's talking about Dr. Wily, and he goes, "Mega Man, we must go defeat Dr. Wowie." And it's just like this. It's the worst voice acting I've probably ever heard. Look it up. It's fantastic. So I wish I could remember which game it was from to cite it, but it's one of those 90s or early 2000s Mega Man games. Mega Man twice in one episode for me. That's I'm not even like a huge Mega Man fan. It's just what's coming up.
I also love about this game that it established the perfect Resident Evil formula, not only the survival horror and the balance of puzzles, but also the concept of power fantasy in a horror genre, such that you start with almost nothing, which obviously creates tension and anxiety and you're resource limited. But by the end of the game, you're blowing up the entire mansion with a rocket launcher. And I believe PT, the playable teaser by Hideo Kojima, I think he played around with the concept of like a flat power fantasy. You have no power, no ability to fight back the whole time. And I'm now playing Silent Hill F, and that has a near flat power arc to it. And so, I don't know. I understand that making horror games more horrific means taking more control away and not allowing the player to become stronger, but it is just such an addictive loop to Resident Evil formula, because then every time, starting with Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil has created a lot of concepts and staples for all genres, but like the concept of finishing a game and getting new game plus with your old loadout, or being able to get god weapons, I think that was created by Resident Evil 2. And
Yeah,
now
is
that
there
exists
any-
all over the place.
Is there anything better than finishing like Resident Evil 4 and then getting the infinite rocket launcher and just like gleefully rocket blasting your way through everything? It's the best.
It absolutely is. That killing the cow with the rocket launcher,
Oh my
like I go
gosh.
on a killing spree.
What's better than that? Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, anything else that you want to talk about this game? Because I obviously I think it's essentially a perfect package. I can't wait to see what a remake does that changes. Like, they always know how to push the envelope on what it means to do a remake. Every version of a remake that they've done has pushed the concept of remakes a little bit farther, and they are just absolutely perfecting it.
Yeah, I don't have any extra things I wanted to talk about. I came into this episode wanting to mention Jill Sandwich, and everything else is just, extras. So I'm pretty happy with how this went.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to mention, I really love tonally how the game. I didn't talk about this when we were talking about design, but I love that they use chiaroscuro lighting, so those deep black shadows, but having some pooled specular highlighting as contrast. So that takes a sharp director to be able to pull that off. I love the palette. It has those deep blacks. It has desaturated reds. It has greens. It has yellow tungsten. So just the palette is very evocative of like this game. Like the palette speaks to the level of decay from these aging zombies and bodies. So very well designed direction there as well. And I also love you have the hub of the mansion, so that's just good gameplay design. And I also love the this game kind of plays out in 3 acts, and this is something that we see in later Resident Evil games, like how how Resident Evil 4 has the village, then the castle, then the island. This one you start in the mansion, and it's this domestic, sterile, almost sterile feeling. Then you get out into nature, and I think there's a lot of unknown of like what could be creeping in any given bush. So the tension's better there, the lighting's poorer. And then by the 3rd act, you get to the industrial and you get to the lab, and it's a completely different aesthetic. And it kind of lacks humanity in these rigid, hard walls and spaces. So I love this concept for all Resident Evil games when they pull that off, is just constantly be pushing like different confined spaces that you're so that you get this pacing balance as you can progress through the game.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. Is it really a Resident Evil game if you don't end up in a secret lab towards the end of the game? I feel like that's like it's the ultimate like end destination for all Resident Evil things. Like, oh, wait a minute, there's a secret lab here all this whole time, and it's where the end is going to have. It's like it's become kind of a staple at this point, and
there is going to be a secret underground lab. There is going to be a rocket launcher in your hand, and there is going to be a giant mutated monster that is bigger than anything else you've encountered so far.
I'm okay with
and
this.
It's probably going to have an eyeball on it, at least one eyeball. Yeah,
one throbbing.
I'll show you a holy body.
Love the line.
I will say that's probably the only thing that this Resident Evil game is lacking is Leon. Every game needs a little bit more Leon in it.
Yeah, I need a little bit more Leon. Love that man.
It also does very well. I think recent Resident Evil games 7 and 8 are starting to understand what it took to be a good Resident Evil game. But these originals, why they work so well is you're basically progressing through these puzzle box, small confined areas with narrow passageways and stuff. So there's a lack of control there. But, here you get the mansion and the lab, and in other games you get a hospital and you get a clock tower. And it's always a confined space with doors you have to progressively unlock in a labyrinthine puzzle box way. And Resident Evil 7 pursued that pretty aggressively, and Resident Evil 8 was somewhere in between having some confined spaces like the castle while also being closer to Resident Evil 4 on just like constantly pushing forward into new areas.
Well, I think Resident Evil 7 probably did the purest form of it, literally taking place in an evil residence. So like that's about as clear cut as it gets.
Yeah. And that's just the English translation of the title Resident Evil. In Japanese, it's Biohazard, I believe. So it's just Biohazard. I would have been fine if they just kept that moniker.
So is Resident Evil Biohazard just Biohazard?
Yep.
That is a good question.
It's just Biohazard 2. Yeah.
Well, while Shan is looking into that, which it looks like he is, I have to ask a really important question here. Where were you guys when you saw Shan play this game a million times over?
Oh, man. Well, we all lived together. in Logan when we were going to school.
Okay. Was
right,
this
Tucker?
when...
That was when we all... Yeah.
Well, Eric, I think you shared a room with Shan, but also I've heard mentions that he lived in the living room. And so...
Yeah, we shared a room for
room.
part of it, and then we didn't share a room for part of it, and we kind of shifted rooms around a little bit. But part of the time where Shan shared a room, I was very depressed and was hard to be around, and so Shan slept on the couch a lot. Yeah. So
that's on you. Okay.
Okay, so you're not going to believe this
hard to be
time.
around Eric.
thanks, Tucker.
Eric moved in with Eric, or Tucker moved in with Eric after that had already stopped. But sure.
Yeah, no, I was still just as depressed. That's a Shan problem. Yeah.
Yeah, Eric was going through a lot, bit through his lip when I was sharing a room with him.
Oh my gosh, that's right, I did.
Yeah, worked at a debt collection agency. Eric was in a tough spot.
That was such a funny, that was the dumbest way to like injure myself. Is I got off of a shift at like this. I worked at a call center that was a debt collection agency, and it was this like it was sucking the soul out of me. You know, it was a bad job. And so I came home and I was tired. I went to go like flop on my bed, just like flop. And there was a folding chair like leaning up against my bed, and I just hit like right on the edge of it, and my two front teeth went all the way through my bottom lip. But I didn't realize it at the time. It felt like I just like bit my lip or something. And so I, got up and I'm cussing and I ran to the bathroom and I like took a little bit of toilet paper and I put it inside my mouth, which is where I thought the bleeding was coming from. And then I was like, oh man, that really hurt. And then I look up and it's just blood coming down, like all the front of down my chin and down and I was like, Tucker, can you drive me to the emergency room? so Tucker drove me to the emergency room and I got 11 stitches.
Yowza.
Yeah, they stuck a little Q-tip through my lip while they were before
cool.
they stitched me up. Yeah.
It
was a whole thing. Yeah. So I bit through my lip one time in the lamest way possible.
I've bit through my lip too, but I don't remember it because I was so young. I think I fell off a swing or something. So I've had stitches here too.
It was the monkey bars, and it was on the bottom of your chin.
No, I've had both.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'd be able to feel the scar tissue.
Stitches. Yeah, I have like a really bad scar down here. I'm surprised you remember that, Shan. It was the monkey bars.
Yeah.
It was Shan's fault. Really he pushed you off the monkey bars. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know how I got these scars. Okay, so you're not going to believe this. This is one of the greatest things that we've talked about the entire night. So what is it called in Japanese?
Biohazard. Is it just biohazard?
So in America, it's called Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. And in Japanese, it's called Biohazard 7 Resident Evil.
What?
That is the best thing we've talked about.
Because it's an evil residence. Yes.
That is gorgeous. Congratulations.
Like
you guys
What
win.
is the setting of Resident Evil 7? I haven't played that far yet.
It's an evil house. Residence. You're like in a house of evil. It's an evil residence.
An evil residence.
Yeah. It's a haunted mansion, yeah.
Well, it's not really.
Well, it's not a mansion. It's a residence.
That's
yeah.
where you play as a guy
spooky,
and you're
scary
like,
house.
You have a spouse or something, and there's like
you get your hand chopped off 1,000 times.
It's the first person.
I don't know that. Okay, I haven't gotten that far. I started Resident Evil 5 and I'm working my way through the series, and I've taken a break for these other games coming out.
So
okay.
7 is probably the scariest in the series for me. 7 was the one that I had to I took the slowest because it's genuinely a lot more horror focused than the other ones. It's it was really scary.
Yeah, that was a shock for me because I was coming off of playing 5.
Which is not very scary.
This isn't Resident Evil.
Yeah, I'm like, where's my crew? Where's Leon? Where's Chris? And
where's the bombastic set
stars?
Pieces and my super hot partner?
Well, I can't wait to play that, but I have to get through 5
it's
and
really
6
really
first,
good,
and I'm struggling with that.
Don't bother
they just
with 6.
announced a few hours ago. Switch 2 is getting Resident Evil 9 packaged with 7 and 8, and it's $90. So $70 for the original game, $10 for the other two. They're game key cards, but you get it all in one. Well, I don't think 9 is. But as far as $10, I like to get those the full trilogy.
That is a hard one because it's like I know that they're going to eventually do a VR mode for Resident Evil Requiem, which is I want that. But I love playing things on my Switch. It is the better place to play games. It just is. And so that's a tough one for me. I don't know.
They also announced Grace Ashcroft is going to get an Amiibo. So they're coming back hard with Amiibo right now.
I love Amiibos. They're so expensive now, though. I'm so mad about the pricing of Amiibos. It's probably the thing in my life that I'm angriest about right now. They're so expensive. It's ridiculous.
They've been aggressively hit by tariffs.
It's like, so regular Amiibos used to be like $18. They started off as 13, then they were pretty standardized at like 18. And then right around the time when the Switch 2 came out, they are $30 now. So they have $30 is for like
so they increased the
basic level
Amiibos.
Amiibos. They're good Amiibos. They're really good figures, but like $30, that's pretty steep. And so then they have like larger, higher tier Amiibos that are $40, which is still like that's pushing it. And then they have these new Kirby Air Rider Amiibos, which I want all of them, but I'm not gonna buy any of them because they're $50 each, and there are 5 of them. That's $250 just for those things.
That's the base price, not the resale price. Like people,
no, that's where I draw the line.
magnetic.
I can't get any of the Air Ride Amiibos. I can't. They're too expensive. As a person who is a genuine Amiibo fanatic, they have overpriced them to a degree where even I'm like, I can't do it. It's too much money.
The Air Rider ones can magnetically come off the base.
From Shan and I's company for doing contract work that will cover the cost of those Amiibos. I know for a fact you're going to buy them.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm definitely going to buy Kirby Air Riders. I'm super excited about that game, but I can't buy the Amiibos. They're too much, man. I can't do it.
You're just reminding me of the other guys when he's like, free hot dogs for life. No drinks. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yep, it's exactly that. It's the same thing. So,
as far as Amiibo, though, Metroid Prime 4 is getting a couple. And there's also Mario Galaxy. Yeah, they're getting like 3. And then Mario Galaxy.
All of them. They're so cool.
Yeah. They're beautiful.
See, $30 is a lot, but I can justify it for things that I'm like $50 for one Amiibo that's the line. But yeah, so I've pre-ordered all of the Metroid ones, and there was another one that no, it's just the Metroid ones right now. But there's a Mario Galaxy one that comes out like early next year that looks dope.
Yeah, it looks really good.
It's a problem. They need to stop making them so that I can stop buying them and save money.
They kind of did.
I've had a figurine problem as long as I've known you.
Yeah,
You're making no money, and we're buying like $50, $60 figurines on the regular.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Even Eric has boundaries.
Yeah, but $50 for like a little, and it doesn't. I don't know.
Do you actually use the Amiibos though?
Sometimes I use the Zelda ones because I play a lot of Zelda games. So, but I mean, if it's got cool functionality, but 90% of the time, the functionality isn't cool enough. It's mostly just because I like the figurines. So, and I have every Zelda Amiibo. So
yeah, I have a few of the Zelda ones. I have like a small handful of Amiibos, but I've never used them. They're just display.
Yeah, I have. Cool. So my collection is like I have every Zelda Amiibo, and then I have all of the Shovel Knight Amiibos. And then I kind of just pick and choose like from little things here and there that I like. So I've got some Smash Bros. Ones of characters that I really like. And I have a few Metroid ones that are super cool. And that one. That's one of my favorite Amiibos. I have that one too. It's so cool.
Yeah.
What is it?
So this one is a Metroid breaking out of a capsule, and he's got an actual plastic or rubber membrane. Oh. And so this is one of the most expensive ones. And
well, not anymore. Now it's just normal priced.
Oh, did you get the remade version? Because yours looked like a different color. Mine could just be aged.
I just bought it new. Yeah. I bought it in the package. So yeah.
Yeah. So this is one that Eric sat on too long and became too expensive.
I know. So
hard.
It is. Collecting is hard because you don't know what's going to be valuable. I've bought multiples of Amiibos thinking that like maybe one day they'll be, and I always gamble on the wrong ones. And so they are just sitting in my closet still. So
it could be worse. You could be collecting Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Or like those Princess Barbies that just sit in their
Yeah.
boxes.
Yeah.
Could be a worse
Or,
collection. At least you enjoy this collection.
Or
Even
what
if
is it?
they'll
A
never make money.
Labubu?
Labubu, apparently they've already tanked.
I don't
I
even
don't
know
even
what that is.
The Labubus! How do you not know a Labubu? Really?
Well, just
It's
saying
like
it
this-
again doesn't. What do you? I'm like
A Labubu.
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 It's a Labubu. You Labubu.
So,
You're
so
just-
Is it
It's not
something
even
that
a word.
gets
It's just
better, like a
syllables.
boo-boo?
Yeah.
it's a Chinese collectible toy,
It's a
kind
French
of like
boo-boo.
a Funko.
These guys.
And-
Oh, so it's a Teletubby Funko. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so it's
All
right.
this concept of cute ugly and mashing those together and making these highly collectible, having a rarity to them as if you're collecting cards.
They're keychains.
I feel like having
They're
$2,
huge. They're in
I
blind
definitely
boxes.
should have heard about this. They probably have told me, and I just didn't know what they were
the
talking
thing
about.
is like they're so new and they took off, like exploded and became like a multi-billion-dollar company or something with these Labubus, and there's rip-offs, and everyone freaked out for a couple months, and it's already tanked. Like the rise and fall happened so fast that it's like a lot of people still don't even, like you guys, you still haven't heard of it, and it's already tanked. But yeah, I'm like going through and trying to see. The trend surged in early 2024. I hadn't heard of them until recently, but like everyone freaked out. They had blind boxes and it became like a global phenomenon. And then the company's monthly production is now around 30 million plush toys. Yeah, but it's already tanked.
Whoops.
Yeah, there's a
So-
South Park episode where I learned about it because
really?
these children are opening these blind boxes on camera for TikTok, and they do the ritualistic like screaming and excitement to the point where it's like, are these people actually crazy? And one of them gets a rare Labubu and ends up creating like a pentagram on the ground and sacrificing a chicken by slicing it in the neck and then drinking its blood or something like
Of
that.
course. Yeah.
It gets really out of hand.
So
That is
I was just looking up this Amiibo stuff about like the upcoming Resident Evil Requiem things, and it looks like they have a Resident Evil Requiem themed Switch 2 Pro controller as well. So that's
Yeah, they
pretty
announced
dope.
that today too.
Love that.
I'll just leave it
Uh-oh.
with this, but there's a video. I'm trying to figure out the actual figures because I've seen it on TikTok, but there's a YouTube video that says Labubu collapse, how Pop Mart lost $13 billion overnight.
Oh no,
on these
that's so many
ugly
dollars.
So your collection could be worse, and at least you have it out on display, you're enjoying it, and
Yeah.
you're not going
My
to lose
collection's
$13
dope as hell.
dollars. Yeah. Even if they're not really worth that much.
Well, I
My
got
assets
the-
only
I got the
appreciate.
Lego. I got the
Yeah.
Lego Game Boy too. Where is it? Right there.
Very
Super
jealous
cool.
of that, actually.
Yeah. Even if
It's so
things
good.
that I have
So
been
cool.
reprinted and changed the supply, that it brings down the demand and changes the price slightly, it's like, well, I still technically have the first edition of a bunch of things, and that does maintain its value to a degree with a special kind of neurotic collector.
You know, this probably has no value, but Shan and I think Shan like also has this collection, but back in the day, if you guys remember, Burger King had the kids' toys that were Pokeballs, and they like
Oh,
it
with
was
the
a keychain.
golden.
No, not those ones.
No?
They had a different one. We
Okay.
have those too. We also have those, believe me. But it was like the plastic ones that you open up, and I think it had a plushie inside. But a child like suffocated on one half of the Pokeballs. Like I think they got it stuck on their mouth, and so
Yes.
you could turn them in and get like free fries. And so they destroyed a bunch of those, but we kept ours. We're like, absolutely not. We're
Yeah,
keeping
not
those. So
for
those,
fries.
Who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe those are worth something.
That's just
Maybe.
called
Plastic
social
Pokeballs.
Darwinism, and it was stupid to live so myopically to trade
Don't
them
eat
all in.
Pokeballs. Yeah.
I'm going to
Don't
stay
eat
out of that
Pokeballs,
conversation
dumb
so I don't get canceled with you. That was a child. Many
Yeah, but
years
it
ago.
was so long ago that nobody has any context of it.
Yeah, that
What does
child
South
would be
Park
an adult
say?
now. An adult's not going to do that.
I think South Park, it's like when they're
Uh-oh.
talking about 9/11, they're like, oh, it takes 21 and a half years before you can make fun of something tragic.
The
You know
Lincoln
what I'm talking about?
assassination just recently became.
Yeah, I think it's been a couple decades since this kid asphyxiated on a Pokeball, so I think you're okay because nobody knows about it. Nobody's
Oh, okay.
connected to this child in any way.
I see.
Also, don't let your kids eat Pokeballs.
It's just good advice for anybody.
That's just good parenting.
You eat them
I've been
yourself.
living-
That's
I've been
safest way
living
to
by
do it.
that
Eat
standard.
them before they can. Yeah.
And I still have my children.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
Great.
Staying out of that.
Fantastic. Okay, well, that's going to do it for us today. Please like, comment, subscribe, and follow us wherever you can follow podcasts. Watch Eric's Indie Corners on Mondays. Bye, everyone.
Do it.
Bye.
Watch them.
Bye.
Bye.
Buy it.
Outro. Bleep-a-doof, bleep-a-deep, bloop-a-dee-blow.